Today's video, I'm going to give you some tips for living sustainably on your property. I know some of you, whether you live in an RV and want to buy some land to move to, so you could have a permanent place to park without having to pay rent or anything like that. So this is going to be valuable information. Stay tuned. First thing I want to talk about is a lot of these political groups that are out there that are talking about these green and all of this mega million, billion dollar, trillion dollar stuff that they want to be able to manage. But I always think that it's weird because they can't even manage like the small things. And it's the same thing for us. I mean, we have these great expectations to move into a property and be totally dependent on ourselves. But we don't know how to even manage the small stuff. For today's video, I'm going to show you the steps that you can do even before you get to a property so that you can start to adjust to this lifestyle of living sustainably. It's a process and it takes a lot of habits to break if you live in a typical world where everything is done for you. You know, the garbage service comes out, and you go to the store and you go shopping every couple of days for food. And now you're living in some home out in the woods or on pasture land in rural areas where you're going to be really far from shopping. You're going to be far from a lot of things. And you really have to understand that a lot of what makes living sustainably is being dependent on yourself or your family or your neighbors around you. And that's gives you a sense of community and family when you can feel gratitude for the people that are around you. And that's part of the romance of living a lifestyle like that, where it's very simple and heartwarming to be able to be dependent on those that you love, or dependent on yourself and your faith that God is going to provide for you everything that you need. So with that said, let's talk about some of these things. I have some of the things that you can start off with to be sustainable, and you can do this even before you move out there, is really limiting your trash. One of the things that I don't have here is trash service. I have an option to purchase trash service on a weekly schedule like most of my neighbors do, but I don't. I really don't buy packaging. I make my own foods. I don't buy boxed foods. I make pretty much everything that I eat, and that limits the amount of trash that I have. And the little trash that I have, I know how to manage it. And I've done videos of this way in my channel. So for instance, everything that I eat that is vegetables like peels and things like that, I have a compost outside in my yard that I've been managing for years. And that compost, when it breaks down, it becomes fertilizer for my fruit trees and for my vegetable garden. So that's something that I've learned to manage over time, and I'm very successful at it now, to the point that it's just a habit that's what I do. And I also have in my freezer a little bag. So if I do have chicken bones or things like that, and I don't want to have to bury them, because you're going to have to bury them pretty deep, and I don't want to have to go out there every couple of days and bury anything. So I keep it in my freezer. And those are things that, yes, I do go out and I throw those out. But my garbage is very little when I go out once a week to do my shopping. So I don't have to really worry about having to pay for a service, because I'm able to manage the trash. And even if I had a little bit of trash, I'm able to burn some of it. I recycle a lot of the products that I do have here. I do go to recycling and I drop those off. So those are ways that you can manage your trash, and that's things that you can start to do now, which is to have a smaller footprint, less consumption of things, and really start to make your own things at home. And that's one of the wonderful things about coming to this lifestyle, where you're kind of deciding to take a walk away from the norm, from commercialism. I mean, capitalism is not bad, but when it's based on greed or gimme, I want more, because nothing fills your heart and you have this void constantly and you keep buying and shopping, and you know, that's not going to fill the void. The void is going to come and get filled when you are happy where you're at, and being appreciative for the little finds. You go to the thrift store and you find some little vase that looks super cute, you know, on your table or whatnot, or furniture that you bought secondhand and you painted and it looks nice. Those are little things that give you happiness and joy. And coming to this simpler lifestyle of sustainability, it kind of goes hand in hand with that. I also have a compost pile for sticks and trees and things like that. Branches that I cut, I have a pile back in my yard as well, so that those things can decompose. Also, things that I can forage here that are great as well. I can use them for fertilizer. I have learned to use banana peels, soak them in water, and kind of make a tea type of drink that really nourishes and provides sustenance for my plants. And they do really well, my green plants up in my porch, with those types of things. So a lot of the things that I'm using and consuming, like coffee grounds, those are great for blueberries. If you have blueberry trees, those are super awesome. Just spread them around your blueberry trees, and they love that kind of stuff. So over the time that I've been here, I've been learning about the same things that I've been putting in the compost pile. Now I'm actually using them as fertilizer for my plants. To learn your plants, I did a video recently, and I'll link it below, having this app that I was able to download to learn, to find out what plants are growing and how to take care of them, so that I know if they have any medicinal qualities, so that I can also benefit from that. That's another part of sustainable living that's really fun and joyful, to know that you can make your own types of teas and tinctures, poultices, and things that bring you healing in a natural way without all the preservatives and chemicals that are in a lot of over-the-counter medications nowadays. Another thing that I love about living here is really getting to see the changes of the weather, how the time changes and the shadows of the lighting when I'm living at home. I'm living a more present life, being present, having more time of the day in moments of presence here, where I'm present, where I'm stopping to reflect on looking out my window and seeing how the shadows change from the summer to the fall as the time is changing. Those are things that I enjoy because I'm living a slower pace now. If you're not going to the store constantly, you always got to know what you're going to eat, if you have enough things to get you by. You know, I live far from the store, so I can't go to the store every day. I try to go to the store once a week. I try to go once a month to Sam's Club or Costco and stock up on things there. Once a week I get out. A lot of times I don't have to get out for 2 weeks. So those are things that I have learned how to manage my time and manage all of the things that I have here, so that those things I can do. And I could save money too on driving. I've also lowered my car insurance as a result, that I called them up and I said, I'm not driving as much. I really spend a lot of time at home. And they gave me a significant discount because I don't drive as much anymore in the country like I used to in the city. So once you move to an area like this, you can request for a discount, because if you're not going to be driving as much, you're going to be home maybe for a week or two because you don't have to go out and work. Well, then you can also ask for discounts as well. The thing that I've learned is really to appreciate my well, because I was without my well for about 2 months last year when my pump broke. It was about 19 years old, so it was time for a new well pump. And then I had some electrical issues that I had to resolve as well because of the new pump. So all those things were taken care of. But now, man, I have so much gratitude when I take a shower or when I turn on my faucets, because I know how important it is. I did learn to harvest water, and I still do that because I have hard water and I don't have a softening system for my water, and it actually has damaged my hair a lot, the hard water. So what I do is when it rains outside, I collect water and I fill water bottles with that. I have them in my bathroom. So at the final rinse, when I'm done with my hair, I rinse my hair with natural rainwater, and it's really helped a lot to be able to manage my hair, so I don't have so much breakage and dryness with my hair. I also know the importance of water and understand that I don't take it for granted. And when it rains, I'm joyful for the time that it rains and what the Lord is providing. What that means for me, it means I don't have to go outside and water. I can have some extra time maybe for reading because the Lord is providing. And then my plants are getting that wonderful rainwater that they so want and need, and it just drenches them, and it's just gonna make them so happy. So I'm grateful for all of those things, or those things that I wasn't really thinking about, living another lifestyle, living in a different type of place, like, you know, those suburban, you know, the suburban type of home. Now living here, I have come to really be more present and thankful and grateful in those little day-to-day things that just give me so much joy. The smell of the rain and the sound of thunder and the beautiful lights when I see them out the window of thunder and lightning and all of those things, and an appreciation for the danger also of them, because when I am outside mowing or I'm doing some yard work and I hear thunder, you know, I have a big property, so I come inside. You know, I respect nature, and I understand how dangerous it is as well. So I'm also at the point that I'm also respectful of it, and I say, well, okay, I can't do it today, so I'll just go inside and take the rest of the day to just read a good book, relax on the couch, and just enjoy the show, the lightning show from my window. So those are things that I have learned to really enjoy. I really enjoy now going outside and pulling some leaves out of some trees and making myself a nice cup of tea, that when I make this tea, it feels like it's alive, like it's replenishing me from the inside out with the sunlight and the grounding energy of the earth and all of those minerals that are in the ground that are part of my land, because I know that I'm not putting chemicals on those trees, and they're giving me all of this vitamins and things. So for me, I'm happy to be able to go out and be able to pull those leaves and do those kind of things that make me feel like I'm healthier because of it. I also don't rely on buying anything that's boxed. I will give you a tour of my house coming up in the future, and I will also take you to my pantry so that you can see that I don't really buy anything that comes from boxes. I don't buy cereal anymore. I make my own yogurt. I make, you know, for breakfast, I bake a lot of things. I make my own bread. I bake my own bread. I make muffins. I make banana muffins. Sometimes I make pumpkin. I just make a lot of my own foods, and I cook my own foods. And when I cook, because I live alone, I cook for 2 days or 3 days. So on my second day, I'll have the leftovers, and I'll coordinate that with maybe a day that I'm doing work on the property, so I don't have to cook, but I can take that time that I would usually cook. I would implement it in doing some maintenance work around the house, and that is something that I have learned over the time. And then if I have a third meal from that meal, I can freeze that for another day when maybe I'm mowing the grass till late in the day and I'm just too tired to cook. So I give myself those little things that I think of them, for most people that think of them as small things, but I think of those as little gifts to myself that lighten my load a lot. And it's almost like giving myself a little bit of self-care, and those are treats that I enjoy and I'm present in right now in this time of my life. I came here really wanting to have a horse and have chickens and have animals, and then when I got here, I had a real appreciation for the amount of work that's involved in a property like this, and I was able to be at peace with the fact that I don't feel that I really need to have a chicken. There are people around me that sell those things, and they're more dedicated to the production and the sale of that, and I can just go visit them and give them my money and purchase that. It's a lot of work for that, and because I travel and because I have some other interests that I do, at this stage of my life, I'm okay. I'm at peace with the fact that I don't need those things to consider myself sustainable, because I know that in community, that's what people did. They would buy from their neighbors and they would provide. So you know, I'm very happy and confident to be able to do things like that, is shop locally for those items that I don't grow myself, and put the dollars back into the people of my community. So that's just a little bit of something that you can start doing now, kind of start changing your mindset of the world that you're at and the world of sustainable living, how it's a progress, it's slowly, it's different. When you first come into it, you're going to continue to probably do the same things you were doing over there because they become a habit, because that's the way the rat race has taught us to be. But I've been here for now, I think 9 years. It's going to be this November, and it slowly has changed me. Not that I've changed because the land and the pace of the land and the landscape and the maintenance and the seasons and the changes have affected me, have grounded me to the point that I don't know what the rat race is anymore. And when I think of my life when I was in the rat race, it's almost like I feel like I had a death, because I don't remember, I can't remember myself that way. I see I can't remember that I even had life back then. And I feel so rich with life right now, and just sitting some days, just looking out the window and just being thankful for looking at a bird pass by, or you know, a little caterpillar on a plant, or a butterfly when I'm pulling a rose out of my rose tree. So the land changes you to become slower at living and to want to reflect on where you are at that moment. And that's one of the beautiful things about living on a homestead and living in a place like this, that it really changes you from the inside out. So I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please consider in subscribing. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Hey, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.